Rosie, I love tacos, but you know the tacos you usually see on TV are those really hard ones? That's not a real taco. The tacos you have in Mexico are actually quite soft. They're made out of massive flour and they're delicious. But one of the things that I like to cook is slow braised pork. Pork carnitas is what they call it. And this is how you do it.
Well, it's exciting.
It is exciting. Now, what I'm going to start with, Rosie, I've got a pork roast here, and you can see I've got the string around the outside here. The string is designed to keep the skin on the top of it to make it crackle up nicely. What I do is just take that off like that really, really easily and discard it. Now, the skin here, I'm going to put this on a tray and crackle that up in the oven later on so it becomes part of the actual taco. Now, I've got a fry pan here that I'm going to make sure it's nice and hot, and I can feel it, it's nice and hot. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper onto my pork. And if you can pass me the pepper over there, Rosie. You've got to make sure you put plenty of salt on the meat, and because meat loves salt and salt loves meat, you know that, don't you?
And meat also loves pepper.
Meat loves pepper as well. They go together really, really well. Now, I'll turn that pan right up nice and high, and I'll add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to the pan because we want to help transfer the heat from the actual pan into the pork, and we want to hear that sizzle. The sizzle of pork. Now, while I've got the board here, I'll just rub the pork around the outside of the board here to pick up all that salt and pepper that's left behind because we don't want to waste any of it. In goes this piece here. Now, one of the things you will notice when you are cooking a piece of pork like this, when you braise it over an hour or two, you'll notice it will shrink up quite a little bit. That's a normal thing. It becomes even more rich in flavour and more tender. Now, the thing you've got to keep an eye on is making sure that you brown all sides of it. So just turning it around like that, you can see it browns up fairly quickly. This pot over here is on a low heat, and I'm going to turn it up a little bit and add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to that because we'll start braising everything else off. Now, if you can pass me the onions and the garlic, just slide them all the way down. I've got some coriander, but they call coriander cilantro in Mexico. That's right.
And there isn't really a Mexican without it. It is pretty much the herb of choice when it comes to Mexico, isn't it?
There we go. And the trick is it's cilantro when it's fresh and it's coriander when it's dried. There's a tip,
I did not know that.
So in goes the onion, the garlic, the cilantro and the jalapeno chili. And I'll just turn that around like that just to soften it up a little bit. And this is where we start to spice it up, Rosie. I've got some chili powder here. Yes. This is nice hot chili powder.
Be generous with that. Lovely.
Right up, there we go. I'll put a bit more in there. 2 teaspoons, maybe even a tablespoon of chili powder to get some heat into it. Some dried oregano goes in there as well. And some cumin, a nice amount of cumin powder that's been ground down nicely.
One of my favourite smells on earth, that is.
It really gives you a Mexican smell. Now, I'll just need to stir that around a little bit to get all those spices to soften up a little bit. Get the oils out of the spices. And you will notice when you do stir it around, you might dry up a little bit. So don't be scared to put a little bit more extra virgin olive oil in there just to loosen it up a bit and help transfer that heat into the onions. Now, the pork is browning up nicely. There's nothing better than that. Now, I've got some ancho chili here, and this is what you can buy preserved. It can come in a jar or in a tin. It's beautiful, nice and hot. Have a little taste of that. It's got real heat to it. It's got that smoky flavour to it.
I love
and it's got a punch. So I'm going to throw that into the onions and the garlic. We'll turn that around like that. Now, we're ready to go, Rosie. It's really quick and simple. I'll just grab the pork like that. Make sure I've got the other side browned off like that. And then pop it into the pot here like this. And the oil that I've cooked the pork in goes straight on top. We don't want to waste anything.
No wastage here.
Now, if you can pass over the beer in the jug over there, there we go. Now, I'm using beer, and it could be considered to be a waste of beer to use it in cooking, but I'm going to pour in about a stubby or 300 mils of dark beer because I love the flavour of it. I'm also going to use a couple of packets of bone broth, and I'm using chicken flavour here. You could use beef or any other flavour you want. Vegetable. There we go. Grab that in there. Vegetable, you could use that as well. That'll give it flavour. Okay, Rosie, the lid's going on now. This will take about an hour and a half to cook. I know it's cooked because it'll be nice and tender and flavoursome and juicy, and I just want to eat it straight out of the pan. Now, while that's cooking, I'm going to get the skin here, and I'm going to make some crackling. What I've got is a scald already on the outside. All I need to do is sprinkle a little bit of salt on the top of it. I'll pop it into the oven at 200 degrees Celsius. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes. It'll puff up and be nice and crispy. I'll take it aside, let it sit there. We'll make a salsa to go with it. Pork crackling salsa. Taco, delicious. So, Rosie, tell everyone what you did with the sour cream.
What I did with the sour cream was I added a little bit of coriander into the sour cream.
Lovely, beautiful, nice simple one. Now I've got a salsa here with some red pepper, some pickles, some onions, some jalapeno peppers, some lime, some coriander or cilantro, and some extra virgin olive oil.
Delicious.
That's what comes together beautifully. Now this is how you would have your tacos in Mexico. You'd have a plate like this, and 3 tacos, or maybe 2 of them, would go onto the plate like this. And then your meat, your carnitas, would go on top of it because that's the hero. You put a pile of it like this on top of it, and then make sure you get plenty of juice on there as well. The juice is what gives you the flavour. Then, of course, some of the salsa on the top of it here like that. There we go, nice
I'm
amount
not
of
going to miss
salsa.
out. I'm going to have a bit of salsa as well.
I want you to have some salsa. And then, of course, the pork crackling, which is the best part. Now, Rosie, this is the thing we love about pork crackling here in Australia. Oh, here, listen to that.
Right up my spine, that did.
This is like the chalk going down, the fingers going down the chalkboard for you.
Yeah.
It's like love happening in my ears. That's what it sounds like to me. A little bit of crunch on the top of it like that.
Want some of this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of sour cream as well. The idea of eating a taco like this is you grab it like this and you pick it up and you tear a piece off and you move it around, grab a piece off like that, and as you pick it up, the rest of it goes onto the tacos. So you grab it like this, put your head on the side and tuck into it. And this is going to be a delicious taco.
They're kind of made for standing up, aren't they? It's standing up, chatting, having a bit of they're party food, a happy food.
It's beautiful. It is party food. It's very happy food. And what you do is just tuck into it like that. You got a great tasting taco with some crispy pork crackling on the top. Got to say, that's delicious, don't you?
Delicious.